So today, to provide you with a bit of context, like I say, myself and Lottie are from the Children and Young People's team within public health at Birmingham City Council. So over the last few years, the team have sort of spent a lot of time developing the Birmingham Healthy Schools Approach, what it looks like, what support it offers, and we're really excited now to be able to sort of properly roll it out. And firstly, I do just want to say thank you to everyone who's come along today, everyone who's been involved in Healthy Schools so far, whether that's coming to Lunch and Learns, using our newsletter, or inputting on the work that we've done as well and sort of feeding back to us as we've been developing it. Really appreciate all of your valuable input. In terms of what we're going to cover today, so we'll talk everything you need to know basically about the Birmingham Healthy Schools Approach. So what the aim is, different ways that your school can get involved and the different support streams that we have on offer as well and things that you can access, and also the benefits of getting involved and accessing the support that we have on offer. We always welcome any feedback, any thoughts, so please do, feel free to pop things in the chat, put your hands up. We want everyone to feel comfortable and able to sort of share your views. All the work that we do is to sort of support you, so we always welcome any input from yourself, so please do feel free to pop things in the chat as we go along. I think next slide, please, Lottie. Thank you. So I've probably mentioned Healthy School about 50 times already, but I think we're going to be mentioning it a lot whilst we're here as well today. So I feel it would be really helpful actually just to define what is a healthy school. What do we mean by that? As I mentioned before, we have done a lot of work over the last few years of sort of consulting with schools, co-production with schools, including parents, staff, pupils, to really understand all the different health challenges that are out there, but also what actually it means to be a healthy school, and it's sort of helped us come up with this bit of a definition of what it means. So these are the sort of key elements. So when we say healthy school, we sort of mean a school that promotes physical health, so that includes healthy eating and physical activity. We know that rates of overweight and obese children in reception and year 6 are really high in Birmingham, and the increased risk that causes later down the line for them as well. So a school that sort of addresses these is really key. It sort of goes without saying as well that mental health is really, really key at the moment, and something that a lot of young people and teachers themselves and school staff are struggling with. So we acknowledge that a healthy school is somewhere that supports mental health and has that support available as well to the whole school community. We also know that a healthy school is somewhere that sort of feels safe, so we want pupils to be in an environment where they can learn and they have those healthy relationships, they treat each other respectfully, and that's really key to then be able to have those conversations and foster a healthy sort of school culture. Integrating health education into the curriculum is also so really important. It's not just sort of a one-off thing, it's thinking about how you can make sure that health education is sort of embedded into the work that you're already doing. So whether that's speaking about immunisations during biology, sort of thinking of creative ways to talk about healthy relationships, so in art or drama, thinking about ways that you can embed health education into everything that you're doing and sort of really embrace it. We know that the healthy environment as well, in terms of the sort of spaces as well, are really key to health. So that's related to things like good air quality, eating spaces that are really comfortable, and also green spaces as well for pupils and staff. And we also think of a healthy school as somewhere that sort of really links in with the rest of the community and the community it's based in. Birmingham's such a diverse city, there's so many different areas and populations, and it's really important that the schools sort of link in with local offers and know what's going on in their community, so they can support parents and pupils to access services and offers as well. And then finally, we've also got the aims, a school that aims to develop healthy habits and behaviours that are lifelong. So that's really important. Again, not that one-off thing. It's about how can you support students to make sure that they are doing these things lifelong and for the long term. And we know there's always things that I remember. I'm like, oh, I remember doing that at school and learning that at school now. So we know that it sticks with you, and schools are really well placed to shape those habits. Next slide, please, Lottie. And so in general, we sort of have our main aim. So like I say, we did a lot of research into what schools wanted from us. And the main aim in the Healthy Schools approach is to provide support to establish a healthy school culture within primary, secondary and special schools. So we really want to empower education staff to improve health and wellbeing across all staff and pupils. So that whole school approach, looking at the whole of wellbeing, so not just sort of focusing on one element. There's things like PSHE, parental communication, staff wellbeing as well, pupil voice, all these things that are really important for health and wellbeing. And also looking at all the community, so staff, pupils, parents, thinking about how they can really link in and support health and wellbeing across the board. So a lot of the work that we do, like I say, is supporting schools and empowering schools to do that themselves. We know there's so much work going on already that schools are doing that is really amazing. So acknowledging that, identifying and supporting with gaps, and sort of connecting those dots, so letting schools know about different offers that are out there, and supporting them to become healthier. So I'll hand over to Lottie now.
Thank you, Lydia. Yeah, that was really great introduction and kind of scene setting for what Healthy Schools is, and I'm going to go in a little bit more detail about ways that your school can get involved in the Birmingham Healthy Schools approach. So there's really 4 main ways. One way is by attending lunch and learn sessions, which hopefully you'll be aware of as you're here today. It means that you've probably heard about lunch and learn somewhere, and this might be your first one, or it might be your 10th one. But yeah, it's really great to have you all here today. And we host these lunch and learn sessions quite regularly. So they tend to be about once a week during school term time. They're 30-minute sessions on a really wide range of different health and wellbeing topics. Our presentations are usually around 20 minutes, and we usually get a guest speaker to come and share those presentations who's kind of an expert in that area of health and wellbeing. And then we have 10 minutes at the end, which are for questions and answers. And they're on a really, really wide range of health and wellbeing topics. So over the next few weeks, we'll be hosting sessions on the Living Well Consortium and their offer for children and young people and for schools. On Chat Health, which is a online health messaging service delivered by our public health school nursing service. And on the London Marathon mini marathon event, which schools can get involved with, as well as a session being delivered by the Mind team based in Birmingham. So yeah, all sorts of different sessions. They're usually advertised via the school notice board, which Lydia will put a link to in the chat now. So we add information about them a couple of weeks before each session. We also add information about the upcoming lunch and learns in our Healthy Schools newsletter, which I'll be talking about in a bit. And we also advertise our lunch and learns via direct email. So if you'd like to be added to the mailing list, please email our Healthy Schools inbox, and Lydia will pop that email address in the chat now. And then another way that you can get involved in the Healthy Schools approach is by reading and sharing the Healthy Schools newsletter. So the Healthy Schools newsletter gets distributed within the first couple of weeks of each half term, and it contains lots of information about different things that you can get involved with. And these are usually services, programs, resources that are completely free of charge to your school. And the newsletter also includes a section that you can forward on to parents. So that includes information that might be a little bit more specific to things that parents can do to improve their children and young people's health and wellbeing, as well as including, as I mentioned, some details of our upcoming lunch and learn sessions, and a kind of fun fact for the day as well. So that's a really great opportunity to get quite bite-sized information about different things, new offers, which are happening. And yeah, it's a great resource that you can forward on to other staff in your school. You can forward on to parents. You can share it far and wide. And then another way that you can get involved in the Birmingham Healthy Schools is through an online resource hub. So this is via our online portal, which we're going to show you at the end of the session a bit more about kind of what that looks like, how you access the resource hub, what you can find on there. But Lydia's going to drop a link to it in the chat as well. So on the resource hub, we've got over 150 different resources related to health and wellbeing in Birmingham. And it's also where we upload our lunch and learn recordings too. So if you miss any of our lunch and learn sessions, you can catch up on them here. And then our final element, which makes up the Birmingham Healthy Schools approach, is the framework, which is a tool that your school can use to self-assess how well you're doing in terms of supporting pupils and staff's health and wellbeing. And I'm going to talk to you in a little bit more detail about the framework. So the Healthy Schools framework was developed based on the engagement sessions that we had with schools, as well as using best practice examples from other areas. The framework contains 45 criteria, which are grouped into these 7 areas of focus on the left-hand side of the screen. So staff wellbeing and CPD, pupil voice, parental engagement and communication, social, emotional and mental health, physical activity, food and nutrition, and PSHE. And these 7 areas were chosen as they were really identified as being kind of key pillars to good health and wellbeing within schools in those engagement sessions we did. Some of you might remember the original National Healthy Schools programme, which kind of had those bottom 4 around pupil health and wellbeing, but we really thought that adding staff wellbeing and CPD seemed like it was coming through as really important in our engagement sessions, as well as the impact and effect that parents can have. So we wanted to make sure we included those areas. And then for each criteria point that's hosted on that framework, we explain to you why it's important. So this includes how it links to curriculum requirements, how it links to Ofsted requirements, and we also provide you a description for what each RAG rating looks like. So you'll have the opportunity to RAG rate each criteria point, red, amber, or green, depending on how you feel you're doing in that area. Criteria which you rate red or amber then forms your school's areas for improvement, which are linked to specific resources within the resource hub that I mentioned on the last slide. So yeah, we would encourage schools to use this framework really flexibly. So one school, for example, in one part of Birmingham might decide this year or the next couple of years, they're going to really focus on food and nutrition. So they might only complete the RAG rating in the food and nutrition area, focus on a couple of criteria points in that area that they want to develop and they want to focus on, utilising the resources on our resource hub, as well as contacting me and Lydia for a bit more specialist support. Whereas another school might decide they want to do a full kind of review, a full self-assessment, mark themselves in all the 7 areas on all the 45 key criteria points, and then choose a couple that they think are important from that. It really is flexible, and it's something for you to use in a way that suits you well. Here we've got a quote from Wilson Stewart School, who are currently signed up to our framework and completing the self-assessment criteria. They've said that the framework is quite simple and clear to work through, and they like the examples it asks for you to give for evidence, as that helps choosing the RAG rating levels too. The only requirement in order to be able to sign up for the Healthy Schools framework is that you must work in a state-funded school, so that includes academies, basically non-fee paying schools in the Birmingham City Council local authority. If you're unsure on whether your school is eligible or not, please get in touch with us and we can advise you. Before you sign up, you also must have a nominated Healthy Schools coordinator. It doesn't mean this person is responsible for completing the whole framework. It doesn't mean they're responsible for making all the changes. It simply means they'll be the ones that liaise mainly with Lydia and myself. And they'll also be the ones that approve account creations by other school staff at your school. So, for example, if you wanted to add your PE teacher to the framework to be able to do the RAG rating against the physical activity section, you could invite them to join the framework and approve them to have an account made. But you're basically sort of the gatekeeper to your school's account and the liaison with us. So I'm now going to hand over to Lydia, who's actually going to show you. It's quite hard, I think, to explain what the framework is and what the resource hub looks like without seeing it in real life. So yeah, we've got a sample school called the Birmingham School, which Lydia is just going to show you a little bit about what the framework looks like.
Thanks, Lottie. Can I check? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, so this is just a bit of an insight into what you'll actually see when you log on to the Healthy Schools portal and access the Healthy Schools framework. So this is your dashboard. This is what you see when you first log on. Initially, it will sort of be all not started, but as you start filling in the framework, you can really easily see, okay, we're doing well in these areas. You'll be able to see a sort of really quick summary of how you're doing and how completed the framework is. When you scroll down, you can then go on to, as Lottie mentioned, each of those 7 areas. So they've each got their own section. And so if I click onto staff wellbeing and continued professional development, it will show me how many criteria are amber, how many are green, how many were red or not started. And then you'll be able to go down into each of these criteria points It will tell you a little bit about why it's important, as Lottie mentioned, linking to Ofsted criteria and other reasons why it's good to focus on this for a healthy school. And then when you select your ranking, you will automatically sort of show these resources. So these are all the linked resources to this specific criteria point that you can access. And these are all hosted on our resource hub. But like I say, also linked to each criteria point. There's a tailored resources that you can access. You can then also look at your areas for action, which is a really straightforward way of seeing your amber and red areas. So if you really just want to narrow down on those and see, okay, what do I want to focus on now? You can have deadlines for when you want to make improvements, and you can sort of really easily, again, sort of see the resources that are linked to those criteria points. As mentioned, we've got the resource hub as well, so you don't have to have a login to access the resource hub. You can access it without a login. But when you click on your resources here, it will then show you this page, which then has all the different resources that you'll be able to access. So it's a really quick way to see, is there anything related to, for example, pupil voice that you want to check out and resources related to that. You can click on the criteria link and then you'll be able to see all these resources, click on them and access them, which will then support you to make improvements in that area. So that's a quick summary of what it looks like, and I think it's helpful to put it into actually what you'll see when you log in. But I'll hand back to Lottie now for the final bits before we wrap up.
Yeah, thank you, Lydia, and yeah, thank you for bringing my slides a bit to life there by showing everyone what the portal looks like. Yeah, so hopefully that's made you want to sign up to our framework and get your login and start to rag rate your different areas. So how do you actually sign up to the framework? So we'll be granting access on a first come first serve basis. So it means we can't estimate when you'll get access to the portal. It depends on the amount of interest that Lydia and I get. It's only the two of us, and we've got 450 schools in Birmingham, and we want to make sure that we can offer that one-to-one support and come into your schools, help you out with it at the start. And yeah, give you that support rather than have kind of a total influx and not be able to fully support you. But at the moment, we're finding the volume of queries we're getting are quite manageable. So at the moment, we've got a relatively quick turnaround time. So yeah, in order to get access, you just need to complete this expression of interest form, which Lydia will drop the link to in the chat. It's really important to note though, like if you are waiting for access, if we do get quite overwhelmed and have to slow down sort of the approvals process and the access process, or if you don't currently have permission from your senior leadership team to sign up to the framework, you can still benefit from Birmingham Healthy Schools Approach through receiving and reading our newsletters, like I mentioned earlier, attending lunch and learn sessions like this one today, and accessing our resources through the online resource hub. So there are still lots of ways that you can access the support and follow the Birmingham Healthy Schools approach without signing up to the framework if that's something you don't feel is right for your school at the moment. And then just a quick overview of kind of some of the benefits of following the Healthy Schools approach. So whether that be by attending lunch and learns, accessing resources, reading the newsletter, signing up to the framework, you can benefit from them by being able to provide evidence to Ofsted of how health and wellbeing in your school is being supported. With the online framework, it also facilitates a systematic way to work towards becoming a healthier school, so you can track your progress, identify gaps, and it also provides a one-stop shop for resources. We know that sometimes when you Google search for some support or resources to help you with something at school, it can bring up so many things and it can be really hard to know where to start, and it might bring up things that are only relevant to schools in London or schools in other areas, whereas these are very much Birmingham specific focused resources that you can use in your settings. And the lunch and learns can also provide you with the opportunity to ask services any questions. So we've got one coming up on the Living Well Consortium, so that'd be a great opportunity if you're unsure what they do to come along to that, ask any questions, get any clarifications of who they can help support. And most importantly, all of the Healthy Schools approach is completely free of charge to you and your school. And it's very flexible to follow, which I hope we've tried to make really clear today. There's no kind of minimum requirements or anything like that. It's very much a dip in, dip out, use it in a way that benefits you. That's what we're here for. We're here to support you. We're not here to be another kind of inspection framework or anything like that. It's very much a tool for you and your school. And Lydia and I are very much on hand to be able to help you out with anything that you need support with. So yeah, you haven't really got anything to lose by giving it a go. And we really would like to continually improve the programme, so we're very open to feedback, adapting it and ensuring that it meets your needs. So if there are things holding you back or things not working for you, do let us know, because yeah, we really want it to work for schools in Birmingham. So just a bit of a summary of what we've covered today. We've shared with you about the different ways that you can get involved. So these being coming to Lunch and Learns, reading the newsletter, utilising the resource hub and using the framework. So the next steps are to sign up and attend more Lunch and Learns, which I think we'll put some links to in the chat of some of our upcoming ones at the end of the session today. Email us to be added to our mailing list for the newsletter, and also read the newsletter when you get it. I know sometimes we get absolutely bombarded with emails. It's very easy to just delete it, but you might find something on there that's kind of a little gem, something perfect for your school. Access resources on the online resource hub, and fill out the expression of interest form to register your school's interest in completing the Healthy Schools framework. And yeah, once we receive it, we'll be in touch with more details, like when you can expect to receive your login details and things like that. So yeah, I hope everyone's found that really useful.